All right, I know it's been a while, um, but I really haven't done any kind of V8 stuff to the truck in a while. So I didn't really have anything to post about, but I did redo my kind of watch first video, kind of showing the overall V8 build and what kind of was finalized in that aspect of the build. And I had a couple people kind of want an overall what all has been done to the truck. So this video, will make an episode, is going to kind of be basically everything besides the V8. So obviously V8 swapped, but we're going to go into all the other mods that have kind of been done to the truck and where it's kind of sitting right now. This is kind of my, I guess we'll call it 3.0 build. There is a 4.0 in my head. I'm going to post another video that kind of has a few things I'm kind of working on and some things I'm kind of researching, but are still pretty early in the development phase as far as where I plan to take this thing. So we'll go ahead and start in the front. So I have a CBI covert bumper. It was actually from the first batch. I did not do the bar. There is a bar you can add on to that for some lights, but I didn't do that when I initially bought mine. But I'm running that. I've got a Smittybilt X2O 10,000 pound winch. Running a Bubba rope winch line. When I did the build, my winch line just kind of was sitting and just kind of got messed up, and I ended up just upgrading the winch line. So it's got a Bubba rope winch line, a Factor 55 Ultra hook with the rope guard, and a Factor 55 fair lead. We'll kind of go to protection underneath. So not too long ago, I ended up getting a 589 skid plate set. He was able to kind of modify mine a little where he left out the exhaust crossover. I tried running an AEV set of skid plates, but the exhaust that I have routed for the V8 just would not align to allow me to kind of run that without some severe modification. I tried to modify it a little bit, and it would just take a lot more, where it started affecting kind of the integrity of how that would actually protect. So reached out to 589. They hooked me up with basically their set without the exhaust cut out. I was able to put that in a different location using some grinders, and I did have to modify kind of that side piece because it goes up inside the frame, and that is where my oil filter is. So not too bad. We'll go to front suspension here. So I am running King Extended. I do have the adjuster. I believe I'm running 600 pound springs. I'd have to double check that. It's been a while. These have been on the truck well before the V8. Running CWF uppers. I actually just rebuilt them with Delrin bushing upgrade. I did run the polys, and I kind of smashed into a rock, and it actually blew one of the bushings out a couple weeks ago. So that's all new. I think they just came out with kind of their Delrin upgrade, so stiffens up the bushings a little more. I am running, let's get under here a little. I'm running some Peak tie rod sleeves. I do run the full sleeve. I've had those on the truck for a long time. Let's see. I run the JSC Alignment cams, put those on when I did the bushings. Got it aligned. Everything seems to be holding up pretty good. You can't really see, but I am running the Level Up poly steering rack bushings. Installed those at the same time as the alignment cams. Weren't too bad if you have a press, but it was a little bit of a pain to get the rack out to actually install those. I'm running RCV Ultimate axles. Those have been pretty good. As you can see, I have my suspension set up where I'm running 50-50 travel. So I have 50% droop, 50% up. So basically I measure my shock shaft and then I set it the height to where I'm at the dead center of what can come out and what can go up before I hit full bump. And as you can see, when you do that, your angles actually are pretty good. So yeah, no rubbing. I do run 35s. Let me see if I have any. Oh, I run the 589 diff drop. I don't know if you could see that in there. Yeah, so there's the 589 bracket diff drop. Basically, the only reason I really run that, one thing, it helps the angles. Also, with the RCVs, because of how much longer that boot is, it actually allows enough clearance, because without it, the boot would get pretty close to the shock during, I believe, droop. I can't remember if it was droop or stuff, but it gets pretty close. And I think on one side I was actually touching without the drop. So that's kind of the only reason I run the drop, but I do like the better angle. Oh yeah, I do run the Level Up sway bar bushings. I do run a sway bar. I live in North Georgia. So running some mountain twisty roads, it's nice to have the sway bar, and when you disconnect it, you really don't get that much more articulation. I do run the Level Up sway bar end links as well. I had those on for a while. Like I said, I run 35s. I'm running Yokohama Geolander mud terrains. I had these in 33s as well. I really like them. They get through Georgia mud clay pretty dang good. So decided to stick with them when I went to the 35s. And of course, to clearance it, I run the AEV high marks. So I installed those, cut everything. Not too bad of a project, but definitely takes a couple days if you want to do it right. Let's go back to the front. I do run, these are just the Amazon Acon headlights. I basically just wanted them a little bit darker. These are not the tinted ones. I think they make a tinted one. I do run an LED headlight. I just don't remember the brand offhand. They've been in there for a while, but they work pretty good. Most people don't notice, but I do run I have a blacked out ZR2 emblem in the grill. Try to keep my color combo kind of black and orange, so I got rid of the kind of silver with the red 2 on it. Let's see, moving our way back. I run Extreme LED ditch lights with CBI ditch brackets. These are side shooters, they call them. Oh, I didn't actually realize I've hit that one. But they call these side shooters because you can run them straight, and then they actually have light that shoots out to the side. I don't run any other lights, so this does pretty well for when I kind of drive at night, which isn't really too often. When I go off-roading, it's usually most of the day. Then I'm usually heading back at night. I run SOS off-road sliders with the kick out. This company is no longer in business, sadly, which is kind of a bummer because they have some pretty beefy sliders. You can kind of see the whole structure here, and they are bolt-on, but yeah, they're pretty stout. I'm not really sure what happened with them, but yeah, they went out of business, so they no longer sell these. I think I got kind of probably the last batch. Yeah, going with the CBI, or showing the 589 skid plate, you can see where I had to clearance for the exhaust there. Oh, I'm sorry. The glare there was wrong. Right there is the exhaust. So, yeah, it's pretty close, but the nice thing was I think the factory V6 exhaust is a little bit farther this way. And so with the AEV one, I couldn't run the crossbars. The bolts would basically hit the exhaust. So this is a nicer setup. It's a lot more protection. I haven't had any issues with the heat at all. I did have to do a little bit of clearance here for the transfer case, but that's only because that's the Silverado transfer case. It's kind of along with the V8 build, but I run a Adams all steel drive shaft. That's also for obviously off-roading as well. Wheels. I run Method, I think these are 701s with the bead grip tech. They work pretty well. I air down to about 15 when I'm kind of mainly off-roading. Haven't had any issues with these. I run R1 Concept rotors front and rear, cross-drilled and slotted, just to kind of help with braking a little since I've got, a little bit more power. All right, let's go in the back here. Underneath, Kings in the rear as well, 589 Ultimate, shock skids. I will eventually be doing the relocation. I plan on going with the Colorado Canyon Enthusiast one that kind of has the hoop thing up in the wheel well, but that's because of some future things that I have kind of planned for the rear end that is why I haven't pulled the trigger on these quite yet. But yeah, I'll cover that in another video. I run the AEV modular iron diff cover with their diff skid. I have Deaver pre-runner springs, no ZR2 lift block. You can kind of see there the lift block's gone. Gives me about maybe a half inch, maybe a little less of lift in the back. The front with the 50/50 travel, I'm about a half inch of lift. Let's see. I think that's pretty much it back here. I run a hitch link, I think they call this, Factor 55, heavy duty pin. If you run something like this, you got to make sure you have a good pin too. Otherwise that becomes the weak point for it coming out. Let's see. I'll kind of cover this, but I do run a Wolf box, a rear view mirror. So I have a camera on my license plate. I didn't really show it, but we'll go back to the front real fast. I have a camera here too. I kind of have it just screwed up into the grill. I did hit this one already. The visual still looks fine in the mirror, but I do have an extra one. I just haven't got around to actually replacing it. I'll show the Wolf box when we go to the inside, but that helps off-roading. And then the rear is my rear view mirror because I have an OVS camper shell. I got rid of my Diamondback Switch to a camper shelf for more room. We'll go ahead and open this up, and I'll kind of show the bed setup. But yeah, I wanted some more room in the back. The Diamondback just didn't really give me as much. I was pretty much capped at the bed height. So I ended up getting this OVS set up. I was looking at getting a smart cap, but the cost of that, I was able to get the OVS cap, 2 Molly panels for the bulkhead, they call it. I'm sorry, the bulkhead is the front one. I think they just call that the side Molly. So the Molly panels and this bed slide for less than what an RSI smart cap was. I finally got my Molly panels. That's the only kind of bad thing about OVS is some of their stuff takes forever to get. I ordered this in January and it's July now, and I just got the Molly panels last week, which is kind of why I've been holding off making this video, because everything was just kind of thrown back here. But I'm running their bulkhead Molly with some recovery ramp mounts. Got my recovery ramps on there. I don't really care about blocking the window because I have the rear view mirror is the camera I showed on the license plate, so I still can see behind me. I run the bulkhead with my shovel and axe. I really like their bed slide. I know that's not for everybody, but I run a full-size spare. I don't keep it under the truck for clearance. So this is a 35. I keep it on the bed slide so when I need it, I can pull it out and it's easily accessible, but I could keep it at the front for when I don't need it. For recovery too, I also got a Badlands 1.5 ton jack. I bought I think this is a Felix Motorsports mount. It's basically the Badlands mount. I have it on this T-track here. So drilled a couple extra holes in the mount so it's mounted on the one side. And keeps that in place. I always keep a chair for when I'm off-roading, so you can kind of just hang out and lounge if I find a nice spot. This is a double chair, so it's actually spots for 2 people. For recovery, I usually carry a kinetic line. I have a blanket, some straps, jumper cables. This is just various snatch blocks, shackles, soft shackles. This is tree savers, tow rope, stuff like that. I run the more flat. This is I think they call it the 10-6 or something like that. It's the compressor. Really nice compressor. You just set your temp or your PSI and then just leave it and it'll inflate. I have this is their 4 tire inflator. So I just hook that up to all 4 tires, set pressure, hook this up, turn it on, and then I can check kind of everything else while that pumps up, and it just turns off when I hit the required PSI that I want. I'll probably do a video kind of showing that, because I know there's a lot of people that do kind of timed, how long it takes them over kind of your traditional 1 tire at a time. We'll do that up later. But yeah, that's the cap setup. Definitely like it a lot more. Let's move to the interior. So I just got this, I think it's called Fez Motorsports. It's a Molly panel. Mounts kind of on your brackets here. And I got a fire extinguisher on that. We'll go around to the other side so we can see it a little better. So let's go over here. Yeah, I picked that up though because I've been wanting a fire extinguisher for a little while. And I just like that set. I just liked how that mounted kind of out of the way in the middle. I don't typically carry people in the back seat, but if I do, I still have, you know, plenty of leg room there. Most of the other stuff I kind of throw behind me. First aid kit, I always carry. Extra sweater. I've got a tire repair kit. Jump box, just a small jump box for self jumping. You always got to have the toilet paper. Tool set. Another couple random recovery items. Some shop towels, some wrenches. You know, tools just in case. The AEV block in case I do use the factory jack. Don't really need to now that I got the Badlands one, but that's how I used to run before. Yeah, let's go to the front seat here. I think this will kind of end it, but I run, let's see, I think this is the copper, I don't remember the name. This is their, I think it's for a Banks iDash mount, but I run a wideband in mine, so I had to mill this out a little bit to fit the gauge. And then I have the Wolfbox rearview mirror. It has a dash cam. You can see right there. I have it on the OE mount, so they have a aftermarket, like, you know, you buy the kit, then you could put their kind of OE mount where this screws to that. You take the mirror off, and then this will hook into the mount. You just take this off. And then, yeah, we have the 3 cameras we can look at. I'll kind of show that. So you give it a second to load up. So it turns on. Let me close the door here and get rid of that beeping. But yeah, so we have, that's my rear view camera now, so that's why it's no big deal that I kind of blocked my my kind of visual with the ramps back there, because I could still see behind me. I could switch over. There's the 3 cameras. That's the dash cam, and then we have the front camera. So when off-roading, you know, you can adjust your front camera and have it look straight down. But as you can see, there's no distortion in this, even though that lens is cracked and I need to replace it. So it's still working pretty good. But yeah, I usually just run it on as a rear view camera unless I'm off-roading. But yeah, nice little setup. Definitely like it. It also records, so if you're off-roading or, you know, whatever else, you can get some nice clips. I think that's pretty much it as far as the build of what else has been done besides the V8. So I'm going to go ahead and end it here, and then I'll get another video of just kind of future plans and other stuff going on. So I will catch you guys on the next one.